Welcome to Great Shelford. Hustings tonight have been organised by Great Shelford Parish Council. I'm Mike Nettleton, I'm the chair of the Parish Council. I'm going to be chairing the hustings this evening. We've got all four of the candidates for the general election on the 8th of June here tonight. Starting from the end there, Dan Grief, the Labour candidate, Simon Saggers, the Green candidate, Susan van der Ven, the Lib Dem candidate, and Heidi Allen, Conservative candidates, and our current MP for South Cambridgeshire.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that at all. Could we run through it again, please?
Probably not. Does everybody else have the same problem?
Yes.
Okay. Right, from the end then, we've got Dan Grief, who's the Labour candidate. We've got Simon Saggers, who's the Green candidate, Susan van der Ven, who's the Lib Dem candidate, and Heidi Allen, who's the Conservative candidate and current MP. Most of these people will be well known to you already. Dan, Heidi and Simon were here at the 2015 hustings. I think we're very lucky to have candidates of this sort of calibre for the constituency. They all are all excellent people, and I'm sure Susan will also live up to that billing. Now, one thing I've got to remember, a tip for the candidates, is these mics are not close-up mics, so keep about a foot or so away, and they're quite directional, so don't move your head away from the axis, because otherwise people can't hear you. When you're using the mic, feel free to either sit down or stand up as you wish. Just unclip it from the socket if you need to.
Actually, ignore it, even better.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if we need it, we'll do something on it.
We'll do something on it. Now, format of the evening, it's 3 separate sections. Each of the candidates is going to make an opening statement of about 4 minutes on a subject of their choice or subjects of their choice. We've drawn lots for this, so the batting order is going to be from that end to this end. At the end of that session, which will take us about half an hour, we'll throw it open to the floor. The first set of questions, we'll ask questions from the floor, and each question will be given to all the candidates in turn. So we're all answering the same question. We'll run that session for about another half hour, and then the final session will be questions targeted at specific candidates. So if you want to ask a question of Heidi, question for Heidi, want to ask a question for Simon, question for Simon. We'll finish by about 9 o'clock at the outside, keep it fairly brief. I'd like to thank Chris for organising the sound tonight. Chris has made a plea, we're getting some pops and crackles on the audio. If possible, can you totally turn your phones off, not just silence them, please? Let's see whether that cures the pops and crackles. Plenty more seats down the front if you want to come down the front. What else do we need to know? Angela, hold your hand up. Angela is the timekeeper tonight, so she's going to be the most unpopular lady in the place. She's going to tell the candidates to shut up and sit down. And just next to Angela, Jackie is going to run around with a radio mic for the 2 last bits of the session. So, let's make a start then. Dan has drawn to speak first. So your starter for 10 points, Dan, on your chosen subject, whatever that is. You have 4 minutes. Thank you.
I'm here to talk about Lord of the Rings for 4 hours. Well, thank you for having me back. I was here 2 years ago where I stood for Labour and came second. And it's fantastic to get the band back together again, the Fab Four. We have got a new drummer, so welcome to the team. And this is our official first gig, so it's great to be back in Great Shelford. So, the reason I'm standing this time round, well, in the last 2 years I've become a father. My daughter Hannah now is 20 months old, and I'm standing because I'm really against the idea of a Tory hard Brexit. On the 23rd of June last year, I stood on the Remain side. On the 24th of June I stood on the Remain side, and I still do to this day. I don't want her growing up in a tax haven on the outskirts of Europe, a country which has given up on opportunity and equality. I believe the ambition for ourselves should match the compassion and decency that we have for other people. Now, I'm sure we've heard the strong and stable line again and again and again, and it was first used by David Cameron 2 years ago. I don't know about you, but I don't think it's been a very stable 2 years. Instead, we've seen an increase of national debt of £752 billion. We've seen a decrease in our police officers by 20,000 and £3 billion worth of cuts to education. And these are the reasons I'm standing. Now, the only Labour government we've had in my lifetime delivered some of the most amazing progressive agendas that we've ever seen. 600,000 children released from poverty. We saw an increase in spending on education, on the NHS, and we also banned fox hunting, which is something we want to do and keep banned to this day. So I don't want to give that progressive achievement into the hands of a woman who walks hand in hand with Trump. And that's the nightmare that I think the Tory hard Brexit is going to be for us all. So I'm standing here today to say we need to reinvest in our young people, to reinvest in our health service, to make an economy which works for everybody, and a successful economy which isn't based on an ideology, but is based on progress for all. And that's what I hope to do and discuss with you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Shortens the point. Simon is batting next, so your 4 minutes start now.
And I'm a left-handed bat, if that makes a difference. So, I'm Simon, and I live in Bassingbourne, where I run an organic small holding with my wife and my 2 children. And I have stood, this is my 4th time in the general election. And I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm getting slightly bored and even more frustrated. The reasons are twofold. One, I'm bored because we all know what's going to happen. We all know that Heidi will be re-elected and she's a great MP, but that shouldn't be what politics is about. It should be about everyone trying to be inspired, trying to say, actually, look, we've all got a say in this, whereas in South Cambs, we haven't. So I'm bored at that, but I'm frustrated because I keep losing. And I keep losing quite badly. And I'm here tonight really to try and find out why from you guys, because you are the electorate, although I know from the partisan faces, quite a few of you have made your mind up already. But for those of you who haven't, and for those of you who have, it would be interesting to find out why you don't vote Green. So I've been thinking about this, and I think there's 3 reasons, possibly. One, you don't like me very much because you think I'm a sort of a weird, stupid hippie who's just nicked a suit for the day. Maybe. I haven't, it's my suit. But I'm going to ask Heidi, and she might, I don't know what she's going to say because I didn't ask her before.
It's not your suit.
But
It's his.
yeah, I'll move on from now. I didn't ask you, but in your experience of knowing me for 2 years, am I a weird hippie?
Yes.
Oh.
A lovely one.
Yeah, no, we'll go from that. Well, I'm not a stupid weird hippie because,
No.
but I'll just use society standards here because I have got a degree and I went to Hills Road and got some very good A levels. And I'm not telling you this to boast. I'm telling you this because instead of saying I'm not stupid, society has told me I'm not, and I should theoretically be in the top 5%. So if you can get past me as the candidate, then maybe you don't vote Green because of the party. So Exhibit B is my friend Paul, who's about to stand up. And all of us in the Green Party, we are not weird, stupid hippies. Paul runs a very successful software business and is definitely not stupid. And the third reason is you think that the policies that we're standing on are stupid or weird or hippie-ish. And every time I come to these hustings, I say, look, the scientists are telling us this. They are telling us that the planet is in crisis. And I don't have time each time to try and go into the details of why the scientists are telling us this. So I've prepared a little handout that is 2 pages long that you can read at your leisure tonight. And for me, the scientists are saying the planet is in crisis. We are in resource crisis, we're in biodiversity crisis, and we're in climate crisis. And those 3 crises combine, I believe, to create the biggest challenge that humanity faces. And if the logic of what you're reading or what you read at some point over the next week is not that humankind is facing its biggest crisis yet, I'm not entirely sure where we're at. So please try and phone me, or I've put my contact details on that. Tell me why that's not the case. Because if that's not the case, I'm not certain why. If it is the case, the logic is very simple. That being the case, that should be our first and major priority politically. That should be at the top of the agenda. Because we are dependent on our planet for our futures, for our children's futures, for our children's children's futures. All our economic prosperity is based on planetary resources that we are currently messing up pretty badly. So I'm here to listen. I know politicians say that, but I really want to know why you won't vote Green, because if any of that logic's true, people should be voting Green, and they should be voting Green in huge numbers, because the main parties, unfortunately, only have this crisis. Thank you. Only have this crisis as a bolt-on to their other policies. And I hope tonight we will try and get to the bottom of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. So, Susan next. Are we ready, Angela? So your 4 minutes starts now.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me. So I've lived in South Cambridgeshire since 1988. I've been a primary school teacher and I hold a doctorate in education. And currently I'm a governor at Melbourne Village College. My husband and I have 3 children who grew up here and attended local schools. I'm going to set out why I think this election is so important and give you an outline of my record. How the next government shapes a new relationship with Europe will determine what kind of society we leave for our children. More than 60% of South Cambs voters opted to remain in the EU. Here in South Cambs, the EU has been very good for our economy and has made us an outward-looking and collaborative society. The EU also provides a platform for tackling global issues like environmental protection and climate change and crime and terrorism. Farmers, doctors, housing associations, publicans, car dealers, head teachers, high-tech firms, the university, even my local zoo, all say unequivocally that a UKIP-style hard Brexit will hurt them and therefore hurt us all. The Tories, I'm afraid, have given us no reason for confidence in their leadership and absolute power. They have been disastrous stewards of our schools, NHS and public services. Fairer funding is not working for South Cambridgeshire schools. Divisive grammar schools will kill off our successful village colleges. And under the Tories we have had a crisis in teacher recruitment. Our children are the unhappiest in Europe. At school they are tested, and that's part of the problem. Britain has some of the worst cancer survival rates in Europe. Some of the best new cancer drugs are being developed right here in South Cambridgeshire, but are not available because the NHS can't afford them. The Tories lack the vision to invest properly in our health services. Not enough doctors want to become GPs. 10% of the South Cambs health and social care workforce are unprotected EU nationals. As a South Cambs district and county councillor for the past 13 years, I have stuck to my principles and had a strong record of getting things done. I have never met a minister, but I have still achieved the following. I brokered the Cambridge Connect student rail fare, which is unique in the country and has made sixth form transport much more affordable. I founded the A10 corridor cycling campaign, which has attracted a multi-million-pound investment in a new cycle network between Cambridge and Royston. I've coordinated a cross-party group that successfully reversed the Tory policy to eliminate bus subsidies. Buses that should have been cut on April 1st this year are still running. I've helped set up community-based Mind mental health services and Citizens Advice Bureau community services. As your MP, I would be rooted in the community, but I will vote against repressive Tory policies and for the progressive policies you can expect from the Liberal Democrats. Earlier this month, the Lib Dems won the South Cambs popular vote in the mayoral contest. On the County Council popular vote, the Tories came in at 41% and the Lib Dems on 38%. Labour came in on 13% and won no South Cambs seats at all. UKIP has given up because they are happy with the Tory offer. The Lib Dems are the only force capable of offering a clear alternative to the Tories here in South Cambridgeshire. So let's do things differently for a change. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. There are about half a dozen seats at the front if anybody would like to come and join us at the front. Okay, so finally in this round we have Heidi. Heidi, 4 minutes again.
So I'm going to try and go without the technology. 2 years ago, how many people in this room tonight were here 2 years ago? I wonder if we'd done a straw poll then, hands up already. Could we have imagined we'd be here again after just 2 years? I do feel a little like my apprenticeship, you're assessing me rather earlier in my probation period than I thought perhaps you would be 2 years rather than 5. But I'd like to talk just tonight very briefly on 2 aspects, the 2 key things when you're choosing how and who to vote for. One is the government and the party that will lead our country, but it's also who your local MP is going to be here in South Cambridgeshire. So if I start with why the Conservatives, why am I standing for the Conservatives? Well, in simple terms, we have brought the economy back from the brink. We have record levels of employment. The journey isn't finished, but our public spending is now under control and we are starting to turn the corner. Has it always been plain sailing? No. Couldn't have timed that better. Is Brexit going to be easy? Absolutely not. Are there going to be incredible bumps in the road as we make that journey? Without a doubt. But for me, there is only one party and one leader that I would put my trust into as we navigate our country through this incredibly difficult time, and that's Theresa May and the Conservatives. For me, there is absolutely no one else that I would trust with that. I understand that Brexit is not what the majority of people in South Cambridge have voted for, but the country did. And Theresa May, our Prime Minister, she has a duty, and I think the correct duty, to be responsible for that message that the country sent her. She's not blind, however. She does absolutely understand the risks. And I feel that she's very tough, but she is a fair woman. And for the first time for me, for as long as I can remember in a Conservative leader, I think she really does get those people who are struggling to make ends meet. And that group of people are very important to me. So I believe that Theresa May is without doubt the best leader, and the Conservatives the best government for our country at this moment in time. I believe there is no one better. But it is also, as I mentioned at the beginning, about choosing who your local MP will be. So what have I been up to in the last 2 years? Well, in brief, if I talk about local issues, for example, so I've worked hand in hand in partnership with our local council, South Cambridge and City 2, and I've worked with housing ministers to see what we can do to try and just calm down the speculative and unwanted developments that we're seeing all over the constituency. I think everybody, as Susan certainly mentioned, at the school's funding formula, Susan's right, it doesn't work at the moment. But the good news is I've been lobbying heavily with Justine Greening and other Conservative MPs. We know that funding formula has gone wrong somewhere, and I have every confidence that it will be addressed, because at the moment, South Cambridge's pupils stand to have roughly £2,000 per head per year less than some of our students in the cities, and that can't be right. I've set up two teacher training recruitment events, because Susan's also right, we do have difficulty training teachers here. And my goodness me, if we have ever thought we weren't on the radar with government, how much money for infrastructure? A14, A428, the expressway from Oxford to Cambridge. We're going to have a rail line from Oxford to Cambridge. And I've been leading a project to build, hopefully with not a single penny of public money, a new train station at Addenbrooks. In Westminster, you will know that I've had a place on the Work and Pension Select Committee. And I've used that position to champion mums. In fact, I have what I call a super mum, one of my mums here tonight. Thank you. To take on the Child Support Agency because it isn't working for them. I've taken on Uber to start paying their employees properly, and I'm confident that's one of the reasons we might see it in the manifesto. But I have been an independent voice, unafraid to speak up to government when I felt they were doing something wrong. Disability benefits, working age benefits or child refugees. If I'm successful on the 8th of June, I want to continue being the modern politician that I believe we need. Accessible, listening, able and willing and embracing working cross-party collaboration, because that to me is what modern politics should be. Because I'm interested in solutions in the future, not bashing politicians of the past. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I would ask respectfully that you would vote for me and vote for the Conservatives.
Thank you, Heidi. 4 excellent speeches, 4 very different ones, very different emphasis, obviously. And I guess that's why we're voting on the 8th of June.